Hello, I'm Carrie Clow, one of Vanier's Student Success Advisors. Welcome to your Winter 2021 registration video on course codes and what to consider when making your schedule. In this video, we're going to define the 5 different course codes, and then we're going to look at different elements that you should keep in mind when making your schedule for the upcoming semester. Before we look at the course codes, though, we need to start by addressing the situation regarding COVID-19 and Montreal being in the red zone. This means that the college is prohibited from having non-essential activities take place on campus. While we cannot predict how long the red zone will last, it is safe to assume that at the very least it will last the first part of the semester. As such, please note that with few exceptions, lectures and learning activities will take place online throughout the duration of the red zone. In other words, if you register for a course with an in-person component, nothing will take place on campus as long as we are in the red zone. In these cases, on-campus activities will only gradually resume if the red zone restrictions are lifted. Remember that this applies to all non-essential activities. There will be exceptions made for essential activities, as I will explain a little later. So just to recap, as long as we are in the red zone, all non-essential activities will be online regardless of the course code. If red zone restrictions are lifted during the semester, there will be a gradual return of non-essential activities on campus as the situation improves. Pay close attention to the communications you will receive from the college throughout the semester regarding any changes to on-campus activities. Also, please be aware that all courses coded as online will indeed remain online throughout the duration of the semester, regardless of the COVID-19 situation. So let us now look at the course codes. You will notice that in the course schedule, course titles are accompanied by a code, as you can see here circled in red in this image. It is very important to pay close attention to these course codes when you register because they indicate the format the teacher will be using to deliver the course. I cannot emphasize this enough. Please be aware of what you're signing up for, otherwise you risk encountering bad surprises. The codes to look for are AS for asynchronous, SY for synchronous, BL for blended, HB for hybrid bimodal, and TR for traditional. Let's begin with asynchronous courses, starting with exactly what asynchronous means. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it means, quote, not simultaneous or concurrent in time, unquote. As such, asynchronous courses are not presented as live real-time classes, but rather are prepared as a guided path for students to follow at a semi-controlled pace. Class lectures do not take place in live time. Lectures, activities, and certain course materials can be accessed at different times. In this format, teachers are available in a virtual manner at scheduled times to answer questions and offer guidance to individuals or small groups. Asynchronous courses offer a lot of flexibility for you to organize and complete learning activities according to your own schedule. However, it is important to keep in mind that you will still have hard deadlines to respect when submitting coursework, major assignments, and assessments. While these courses will not use scheduled class time for lectures, it is still possible that the teacher will use class hours to touch base with the group. For example, the teacher can use class hours to meet with students to go over the course outline at the beginning of the semester. Consequently, you need to be available during class hours, and you cannot double book asynchronous courses with any other type of course. Note that your teacher's availability to meet with students will be indicated on the course outline. Another thing to keep in mind is that while having flexibility might seem very appealing, it also requires you to have good time management skills, motivation, and discipline to ensure that you keep up with the workload throughout the semester and are able to meet all of your deadlines. Also, please remember that regardless of the COVID-19 situation, asynchronous courses will remain online the entire semester. Online synchronous courses have a scheduled meeting time to conduct live online lectures, discussions, group work, and so on. Synchronous courses have a synchronous component during the scheduled meeting time and day of the course for you to attend live lectures and other activities. This will require you to be available to attend class via a video conference tool. Courses may use all the scheduled class time for live lectures or may combine synchronous activities with some asynchronous activities. In other words, since these courses could constitute a mix of approaches, it is still possible that synchronous courses do not use all class hours for lectures. We should not assume that synchronous courses are the complete opposite of asynchronous ones. Instead, you should think of synchronous courses as consisting of a spectrum with varying degrees of synchronicity. A course will be coded as synchronous if it contains a synchronous aspect, but this does not necessarily mean that the entire course will be synchronous. As such, you can expect a mix of synchronous and asynchronous elements in these courses, as well as the possibility that not all scheduled class hours will be used for lectures. Once again, please keep in mind that regardless of the COVID-19 situation, synchronous courses will remain online throughout the semester. Blended courses offer a combination of real-time activities done face-to-face in the classroom with a limited number of students and asynchronous activities. They may also include synchronous online activities with the entire group. You can expect to attend live lectures both in person and virtually during the scheduled class time, as well as to have asynchronous work to complete outside of the scheduled class hours. So in other words, blended courses are just how they sound. They consist of a blend of teaching methods. An example of this could be having classes online while labs take place on campus. Another example could be having classes online one week and having classes on campus the next week. It could also happen that some weeks classes will be on campus, while other weeks the class, rather than meet during the scheduled class time, will require that you do asynchronous work instead. Please remember, as long as we are in the red zone, these courses will be completely online. If the situation improves and restrictions are lifted, on-campus activities may gradually resume. Hybrid bi-modal courses are completely live using a combination of in-person and online lectures. While part of the class is attending lectures face-to-face in the classroom, the rest of the class connects to the group online synchronously in live time. In other words, both groups are attending the same lecture, with some of the class attending in person and the rest of the class attending online. In these courses, there are no asynchronous aspects, and all scheduled class hours will be used in a synchronous manner. Students registered in these courses will have the option to choose whether to attend class online or in person. I want to remind you once again that as long as we are in the red zone, these courses will be completely online. If the situation improves, on-campus activities may gradually resume. Traditional courses are standard courses that require in-person on-campus attendance as per the class schedule. Students will meet with teachers on campus on the specified class days and times. In terms of the red zone, please note that traditional courses are still likely to take place on campus because they consist predominantly of essential pedagogical activities that cannot take place otherwise. We assure you that Vanier continues to adhere to very strict COVID-19 health and safety guidelines and that on-campus activities will be done in the safest environment feasible. Please note that there is one exception to this, which are physical education courses that are coded as traditional. As long as we are in the red zone, traditional physical education courses will be completely online. If the situation improves, on-campus activities may gradually resume. The bottom line is, if you are registered in a traditional course, please be sure to read the course description and course outline very closely. In addition to knowing what type of course you're registering for, there is another thing to keep in mind when making your schedule, and that is how you will be assessed. When you register, you will be able to see whether assessments like tests and exams will be in person or online. These are the codes here to look for. OL means that assessments will be done completely 100% online and that you will not have to go to the campus. TC means that tests will be in person and done on campus, so that you'll have to go on campus maybe once or twice during the semester. FC means that your final exam will be done on campus. As with course types, be aware of what you are signing up for in terms of how your assessments will take place. We're going to move on now to some important points to consider when you make your schedule. One of the most important things to keep in mind, as I've already mentioned several times throughout this video, when you're making your schedule, please don't forget that with the exception of select essential activities, everything will take place online as long as we are in the red zone. Things will change if and when we leave the red zone, so pay close attention to any and all communications that you will receive from the college throughout the semester. This table summarizes the differences between course modalities, as well as changes that might take place if the COVID situation improves throughout the semester. A crucial point to consider is what happens if and when we start going back on campus and you have back-to-back courses on your schedule. If you have to be on campus for a course, but immediately before or after that course you have an online class to attend, then you need to plan ahead. For example, if you have to be on campus at 11 a.m. for a class, but at 9 a.m. you have an online class, then you need to go on campus earlier to do your online class to ensure that you have enough time to get to your 11 a.m. class on campus. Similarly, if you have an online class after an on-campus one, and you do not have enough time to get home for your online class, then you will need to stay on campus to attend your online class. The college has designated quiet study spaces for students. To learn more about this, look in the description box below this video, access the Student Hub link, and click on the Study Spaces on Campus tab. Also note that you cannot, as mentioned, double book asynchronous courses with other asynchronous courses or any other type of courses. Also, carefully read course descriptions when you register. Also, your course outlines will be available 3 to 5 days before the start of classes, and you also need to read these very carefully. Another thing to keep in mind is that while time management and organizational skills are always important, online learning requires you to be especially disciplined. The best way to ensure that you do not go off track and fall behind is to start the semester off on the right note. Make sure to attend all your classes and get your work done in a timely fashion. It is also crucial to factor in all of the time that you will need to devote to coursework, both within class hours and outside of them. To have an idea of this, look at the ponderation of your courses. This is also known as the course's weight. You will first need to start by accessing your progression chart. Once you're in your progression chart, click on an individual course, and this is what you will see. The 3 numbers at the top indicate the course's weight. The first number reflects class hours, the second hours of practical work, and the third hours devoted to assignments per week. In other words, if you add together the 3 numbers of a course's weight, that is the average number of hours you should expect to devote to a course on a weekly basis. I also want to mention that for asynchronous courses, remember that even though you do not have live classes during the class hours are still separate from the hours you need to put in outside of the class hours. To ensure that you stay on track in your courses, you will need to keep your motivation up and have strong, consistent study habits. All of you procrastinators out there, you know who you are. I am talking to you. The semester goes by way too fast to allow you to put off doing your work. Do not put yourself in a situation where it becomes impossible to catch up. The college does have resources to assist you with time management, organization, study habits, and study skills. Be sure to check out the Student Hub. The link is in the description box below, and there you will find information on all the student resources that we have at Vanier. If you've been experiencing challenges with online learning, you can consider slightly reducing your course load this semester to make things more manageable for you. Please keep in mind that doing so will have an impact on your progression chart and could delay your expected graduation date. If you need to reduce your course load, you are encouraged to meet with an academic advisor to discuss your progression chart and when you can make up the courses that you are putting off. Similarly, if you are not sure which courses you should take and which you can defer, you can contact the registration chat support during your registration appointment. To conclude, please take note of these important dates. Course registration appointments will take place from January 16th to the 14th. To know your appointment time, log into Omnivox and click on course registration. If you need assistance or have questions during your registration appointment, the registration chat support is there to help you. You can log on there from log on to it from the academic advising website, and you'll find the link for the academic advising website in the chat box below. Note that the registration support chat is only available during registration times. The first day of classes will be Monday, January 18th, and the deadline to delete a course or withdraw from the college will be Friday, February 12th. On behalf of the entire Vanier community, I wish you a productive and successful semester.